Hi. I thought, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, if I can get this angle right, I would do another reading. We have been talking a lot about love here, or at least in my playlist. I figured, why not? Just because I finished my whole year-long monologue doesn't mean I can't do a reading once in a while. When I feel like calls for it. So I hope you all are doing well, and I'm just going to pull some cards from a ton of different decks and see what comes out. And for any yes or no confirmation answers, I have my trusty Magic 8 Ball, which has been quite accurate actually recently. But if that doesn't work, I've been getting pretty crafty with, no pun intended, with they're not exactly dry yet. We'll see how well this works. A lot of different things. I made a lot of little dice that all questions you want to have answers to, yes or no kind of things, or, one word answer type things, or like a week, or how many days, or things like that. So we'll see. We'll pull some from there if it calls for it. So, let's see. Where to start? I guess maybe I'll just pull some rune cards. So, let's see. This is for the highest and greatest good of all. And, Let me shuffle, because I didn't shuffle before. That was number 7, constraint. Having some trouble. Let's see. God, I'm going everywhere. Wholeness, the sun, which reminds me of number 19 in the tarot. Solalu or something like that. 24. And breakthrough is on the bottom. So given the signals playlist that talked about there being some sort of ice or blockade or divide between the sun and mankind or humankind, maybe this is the breakthrough. This is Degas, or Degas. It's something like that. Degas, and talks about home and, a breakthrough too. So I'll put links for that below. The sun, wholeness. It's a pretty straightforward rune, actually. It doesn't have a whole lot of you'll see when you read the rune. So, but I thought that signals playlist was interesting with all the different, I always feel like so far away. Doesn't help to have one of those, what are they called? Tempur-Pedic beds, and I kind of end up sinking in, so then I lean forward, and anyways. I've been getting pretty crafty lately. Found myself at Michael's, and wouldn't say I was sober, and just had a really fun afternoon one day, but dangerous though. Don't go to a craft store when you're not sober, and lots of different ideas, and spent way too much money, and came out with like tons of fake flowers, thinking, well, it's winter and I need to be able to draw flowers from something. So that was my logic there, but also lots of wood chips and things, hence my dice. Oh my gosh. I don't even know which one. I have so many here, I don't know. Now I have to come up with something to do with wood. But anyways, so try not to give you guys a show here. All right, so let's see. Let's pull from the Art of Life Tarot. Shuffle. Oh, Empress. What do people need to know, or what will be helpful? I'm just like not so far away. All right, let me get situated here. What do people need to know? What would be helpful? What is on the horizon? What is there to look forward to besides Valentine's Day, maybe for some of you? The moon. It's kind of funny that, oh, excuse my nails. Yeah, there is like no point in having decent looking nails or hands when you are doing arts and crafts, which is proving to be, by the way, way more frustrating. Like, I can paint like Cezanne, but comes to painting wood chips, I'm having issues. And my hands look like they've been through war. So, yeah. Anyways, the moon. This is a fun card if you looked at the most, or one of the recent playlists. And the garbage song, it looks just kind of just like that. Anyways, so it says, go confidently in the direction of your dreams, live the life you have imagined. Henry David Thoreau. This is The Sleeping Gypsy by Henry Rousseau, 1897. So, the moon, things being illuminated in the dark, finding your way, finding the path, figuring out which direction to go in. Sometimes I think of it strangely as like this main street that we have here. Maybe it would apply to you somewhere. Just because usually there is like some sort of divide and people coming together or two animals coming together. So maybe it's meeting halfway somewhere. Maybe it has something to do with trust, I want to say. Maybe being in some sort of vulnerable situation. Maybe something having to do with your emotions. It could be something happening on the 18th, or Piscean energy, so a lot of emotions, maybe psychic intuition, things being brought to light, and really sort of maybe it has something to do with Leo too, since there's a lion here. Let's see, from different decks. So, bottom is a Hierophant. So, rules are not necessarily sacred, principles are. This is Pope Leo. Pope Leo X with two cardinals, after a painting by Raphael, Andrea de Sarto, 16th century, Museo de Galleria Nazionale de Capodum, Naples, Italy. Franklin D. Roosevelt is the quote is by. So, Hierophant, some sort of institution, government, it says laws, rules, principles, things being a little bit traditional, non-traditional, depending. they're in the same direction. So however you're feeling is probably linked to that. And like I said, Leo, maybe there's a lot of like creative Leo energy. The moon, I feel like, is creative energy too, because it has to do with your emotions, and depending on you, you might get a lot of creativity from how you're feeling, maybe paying attention to that. But it's also, I want to say, like, maybe some sort of meeting hall or some sort of institution of sorts, school, anything that has to do with, laws, rules, teaching. Sometimes I think of the Hierophant. Obviously, it could have to do with maybe Catholicism or, the church. Anyone who's in some sort of authority position. So maybe you're on your way towards some sort of, you stopped on your way, took a nap, and but yeah, maybe you're seeking out some sort of advice, or sometimes I think of referee with the Hierophant, because he's like usually holding his hands up, and kind of looks like he's calling the shots or something. But really just someone who's in maybe an authority position, or like I said, the government, and the moon ruling over, any water sign, Piscean, Cancerian energy. Maybe it has something to do with more maternal energy, or following the rules, or things like that. But it's also number 5, so maybe something having to do with like nomadic, gypsy-like energy. I kind of feel gypsy-ish right now in this shirt. So maybe there's some sort of clash too between like free-spirited energy and more following the rules, or it could also have something to do with finding some sort of happy balance, happy medium between that. I guess when I want to say, like, understanding that, like it says, rules are not necessarily sacred, principles are. Seeing beyond traditions, seeing beyond formalities, just I guess I was thinking about something that I was thinking about earlier today, and the Signals playlist, and how the train of thought led me to a Bible passage. So happy Valentine's Day. But yeah, and just that you shouldn't be afraid to think outside the box. And I put that in the details below in that playlist too, so you can see. I think it's John 14 or something, 15, and at like 26 actually, which is my peanut Cancerian sign. It's sun sign, but it talks about some sort of advocate and teaching and learning, and you can read it if you're interested. But just how if even back in the day of Jesus, and how if people had followed the rules of the day, we wouldn't have Christianity. So it's about being able to think outside the box and know that it's okay to be free-spirited and a little bit rebellious, and find new ways, new pathways towards understanding faith and beliefs and things like that, because otherwise there's really no point. You're just going through the motions, and I can't see any all-powerful God like really being impressed by that, that's put as many wafers on your tongue as you want, but at the end of the day, I think it has a lot more to do with what's in your heart and what's going on in your own personal journey and things like that. And that, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll come back to those thoughts because, oh my gosh, it was like a long sort of justice. Maybe it has more to do with the government. But I feel like a lot of things overlap, and that's part of that like complex system. So see how things work out, or whatever speaks to you, I guess. Let's see. Maybe, I don't know. Four of Swords. Wow, these cards are mixed up. We have an I Ching card here, which is number 22 and 4. So maybe that's important to someone. Looks like it's in some sort of church or tomb or something, place of rest. 22, 4. 22 is a master number. It's the builder. 11 is visionary. 22 is the builder. 33 is the like all-encompassing of all of it. I don't know what that means though, so I don't know, maybe 4 letters in a name or something like that. Didn't mean to show that, Let's see. Let's make sure I don't have anything else in here. Let's see. Oh, okay. Page of Pentacles and the 5 of Wands. So maybe Capricorn energy. Not to show you guys my nails. Capricorn energy or Earth energy, maybe something having to do with a piece of advice or I don't know. 5 of Wands. These guys look kind of, I don't know, suspicious, creepy, I don't know. But 5 of Wands, maybe, these guys, I'm just going to go with whatever the card really feels like, which is, they look like they're conspiring, working together, but at the same time, I feel like they're out for their own interests too. Like there could be some backstabbing and things like that. Usually this means competition or constructing something, infrastructure, a good idea, a good plan, maybe with the Page of Pentacles, some advice, offering some help or assistance, maybe assistance, yeah. Something of, yeah, tangible materials, something to do with earth and fire. Did I show you this? Looks like he's over there having fun, and they look like they're plotting some sort of trap or something. But it doesn't always mean that. Sometimes it just has something to do with chaos or confusion, reading instructions, things being mixed up, some help or a little bit of, sometimes I feel like the pages, I mean them being messengers or a young kid, someone of younger age, or just with a younger, more, I want to say like, I don't know, younger outlook, I guess, younger in spirit, that kind of thing. I would kind of feel, since they are messengers, I always feel like when they pop up, it was some sort of like those cards being mixed in are probably important for some reason. I always feel like it's kind of like a helping hand or like behind the scenes, on the other side, there is some sort of like maneuvering to make things happen that way. Yeah, complex system is what I usually also think of with the Five of Wands. Complexity, just things being interrelated and crossing paths, crossing like infrastructure, building something, competition, working together. Fifth house. And we got the Hierophant before, so maybe there's a lot to do with the fifth house of creativity, of play, of romance and fun and a little bit of drama, a little bit of it's the best house. So it's kind of like whatever planets you have there, and it's also the house of home and some sort of just a rabbit. Where did I hear rabbit before? It was coming up everywhere. I don't know, maybe it's like pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Because this hat looks pretty fancy right there. It reminds me of all those hats from like 1996 that were all like 95, 96, like they were all like those felt hats that were all those weird sort of like, they were horribly ugly and they looked like Dr. Seuss, but like they had all those weird things coming off of them. I had like Joker hats and things like that. These look like little devils. Little influences. There is this like sort of singular one, maybe again it has something to do with Leo, fifth house of Leo. I mentioned that, and then it came up in the Hierophant, Leo, fifth house, and maybe you have some earth in the fifth house, earth sign, something to do with that. Briar patch. They both look like they're like little, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kid, little briar patches, and I don't know if that means anything to anyone, but yeah, maybe there's just some chaos here, and it's like offering a little bit of advice or something like that. Which way to go? Guidance. I don't want to spend too much time on that. I'm going to pull from this Lovers deck, and then the other decks are more the Oracle decks, I think. I'll pull from this a little shorter. So this is the Lovers deck. Further clarity on the Hierophant, the Moon. Maybe it's using your gut instincts to figure something out, your some sort of religious leader, consultant, counselor kind of thing. You're on your way towards spiritual enlightenment. Further clarity on, the Five of Wands, Page of Pentacles, the Moon, the Hierophant. The King of Pentacles where it's split. Nine of Pentacles reversed. So it might be like two different King of Pentacles and Nine of Pentacles, maybe two different people. And these popped out. Two of Cups. This is the soulmate card, so that works for Valentine's Day. Maybe you are spending your Valentine's Day with your sweetheart. Two of Cups. Seeing eye to eye with someone, like exchanging of information, a meeting. on a more mundane level, it's just getting together and having drinks, like just two people coming together. That's weird. Five of Swords and the Hierophant again. So maybe the Hierophant is very important. Here it looks more like, you'll see why I think it looks more like a referee, because usually he's like, some sort of, I guess, looks like China. Two different sides. Usually they're dressed similar but different colors. So I think of like bipartisan sort of things. Someone giving very good advice. Usually this is it's the High Priest. It's similar to the High Priestess, but deals more with translations and, being in sort of authority position in order to give spiritual guidance from above, being able to translate things from the other realms into reality. And, it's the gilded sort of hammered archway here, which reminds me again of the Signals playlist, and Minaz rune. The symbolism there talked about a well with an archway, maybe something having to do with an archway, doorway or something. I think of like the Oracle of Delphi and how she received messages, but then the High Priest translated them for the masses. So it could be talking to the masses, talking to a large group of people. Again, fives are change. So maybe you're changing how you see someone, how you look at something, some bit of information, seeking out spiritual advice, guidance, maybe some sort of higher education, counselor, mentor, kind of thing. I think of two with, someone I think who is on the same wavelength as you, maybe. If not in the same, like, authoritative position, I feel like it's someone who gets maybe where you're coming from or what you're trying to do. So far, water, a lot, the moon, and 2 cups. The Hierophant can also have to do with, he looks fair, he looks calm, he looks fair, he looks like, let's say on the back there. Can't see, it's too small, but maybe the writing, something having to do with engraving. Maybe you're giving someone something engraved for Valentine's Day, or embossed or engraved or something like that. I just thought of a song, 2 minutes, and I'll be 2 more minutes, 2 minutes, and I'll be something by James Young. I think of songs, or if I remember to have time to put songs and details below, but I feel like I've made so many playlists, I've probably overwhelmed you guys with songs for now. So let's see. Maybe right now above the 5 of Swords. So this is another change, 3 change, maybe something having to do with 15, maybe 3 different perspectives. Which also reminds me, the Signals playlist just really brought out a lot of things for me. I don't know about you, but just especially having to do with religion, and it keeps coming up. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I should mention those things. Like guess what I was thinking about was since the devil came up in that, the most recent reading that I did, how to explain, especially if you aren't well versed in any sort of like theology, religion, but the way I guess I see it is there's 3 different ways maybe of looking at that, and how well, I mean, Jesus was born in, he was a Capricorn, and sometimes the devil card refers to Capricorn solely, not as, it's just an indication. There's, I feel like, billions of levels of meanings behind the cards, and how it could be the traditional way of looking at things, God, devil, all these kinds of, but also maybe, Jesus was considered like a false prophet, devil type to the people at the time, when he was alive, so it could be some sort of metaphorical representation of that, and in that case, the devil could be different from like Antichrist. Not really trying to go that deep with things right now, but because one of the readings a long time ago, the 2 cards came up at opposites, so I really need to just start recording myself when I'm having all these like long trains of thoughts and thinking about things, because I always forget what I wanted to say, or what I would have said, but because 33 came up with Grand Master, sometimes the devil comes up just for Master, like a Master number, 22. 33 came up in that reading with the devil, and so I had thought of like Kim Jong-un and the Hermit Kingdom and things like that, but Jesus was also 33 when he died, so and then the Signals playlist, and I was thinking in that Bible reading, and at line 26 talks about how I'll send his advocate, so which made me think of the devil's advocate. I don't know, there's just like a lot of different ways of thinking about things, and sometimes I think we get really caught up with names too, which was part of the Signals playlist, not to be constrained maybe by names, naming things, and preconceived context notions of how, what that means, stigmas, things like that. So yeah, I did have it like kind of like 3 different ways of looking at it, like traditional, or it could be, devil is the Antichrist. Maybe I'll do a different video because I want to keep this pretty light and not go into things like that. But King of Pentacles, King of Earth, and the 9 of Pentacles. So, anyways, that was a long sidetrack. I will just leave that over there, and you pull from on a lighter note. From the, what are these called? The Oracle, Love Oracle readings. So, Angel Oracle cards. Separation. Time apart from your partners on the horizon. And soulmates on the bottom. They're reversed, so maybe you are breaking up with someone so that you can be with your soulmate. Maybe you finally realize that this is the person you want to be with, and there needs to be some sort of separation. Maybe you're separate from your soulmate, and there's some sort of distance, and you are finding ways to celebrate the holiday some other way. Always like holding his heart. Reminds me of the Notebook. And I remember that this curtain stood out to me before, and that was in some video. I remember there's a lot of these, stained glass windows in the background too. So seeing things through different filter, through different lens. I'll pull a different one. It's kind of like came pretty fast. Oh my gosh, the cards are just like not. Don't blame it on the cards. Maybe I'm just a bad shuffler. Very soon. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. That's actually in one of my little dice, and I asked a question earlier. It came up very soon. So, get on with it. Maybe someone's waiting for you. Maybe with the separation, soulmates, passions on the bottom here. And Nick Cave. I swear, these cards are just like, very soon. So maybe there'll be some passion very soon. And you need to get over whatever separation or whatever's keeping you separate. And from your soulmate, and figure things out. Yeah. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. So, which reminds me of one of the runes, joy. Pertho is part of Manaz, and which also reminds me of soulmates, because it's two, is it Pertho or whatever rune means joy. It's like a pointed P, and two of those together facing inward makes up Manaz. So it's kind of like seeing eye to eye with someone else, which reminds me of the Two of Cups. So there's a lot of that, like seeing eye to eye. There's two people here. Maybe you're being brought together. Usually there's two in the Moon card meeting at that dividing line. So, passion sounds good for Valentine's Day. Maybe I'll pull from this Clint deck. I hope people realize that, like, and, for anyone who doubts these readings, or maybe that's how I got on that train of thought earlier today, because I always get comments from people that are like, I don't know why, because I look at other people, tarot readers, like, and everyone's like so nice to them and like gets all these like nice comments like, thanks so much and blah blah blah. And I think I've gotten like one nice comment. Most of the time I get people who are like, you should be shot, and you shouldn't play with tarot cards. And I'm like, who are these people? Like, mind your own business. And you clearly have not watched any of the videos or seen like the full like progression here, because then you wouldn't understand that it's not just tarot cards. It's not just oracle cards. It's any card deck. It's anything I do. It's a globe spin. It's flipping to a page in a book. It's when I put on a song on, Spotify, or shuffle or whatever. It's everything that happens like throughout my day. I was like running some errands on the north side of Chicago, and just randomly passed a gate that had I think it was a gate or maybe it was a car, but it had a sign that said memo. Caught my eye, and it stood out to me, and that's, how I know when something is meaningful. I've paid attention long enough to know that. And I'm like, oh, probably something having to do with like memos or something coming out in the news. And later that day is when that whole like Nunes memo came out. So it's kind of like, really, I should just have like a camera on my eye and like walk around and just, that's the only way people would be able to see like how it's everything that happens to me. It's not tarot cards. It's not like, obviously, like Jesus is coming through the tarot cards. Like people, that's what I mean, like have preconceived notions of what, and all these like stigmas about things that they know nothing about, really. They've never experienced firsthand. They've never tried. They've never really like, they're pieces of cardboard. They're, it's about you, and it's about what you attract, and it's about what your aims and motivations and intentions are. It's not about, and if you are attracting bad energies and negative energies, that has more to do with you, and it shows a little bit more of a spiritual weakness, not in like the good sense where it says in the Bible you should be like meek in spirit or whatever. Means you really probably don't have a very strong connection to what you know to be true, and that's why it's easy to trick you and have negative energies come at you. So yeah, I think that's how I got on that subject, and was thinking about like what I would say. I always think about what I would say later to those people that are just ignorant, and have nothing to stand on. I mean, it's baffling to me that people talk without having any knowledge of what they're talking about, and think that because they've been taught something that's the only way to go, like I kind of said earlier, like, and usually come at it with a very strong prejudice or righteousness or something like that's just so annoying, and are judgmental to some degree. Like I think I spoke about a friend before that wouldn't let me read her tarot cards, but when something happened, she never, someone who calls themselves a Christian, never gave me the benefit of doubt, never accepted my or got back to me with my attempts to reach out. Gave her time, gave her a year to respond to, and I didn't do anything wrong, and had she given me that opportunity, she would know that. But it speaks of nothing of what right actions are, or what someone of faith, or someone who at least proclaims to be, a Christian, or too good to do tarot card reading, because they're, it's not good or something, whatever they think. Also, doesn't act whatsoever along the lines of how Jesus told people to act, which is also in that whether you believe in Jesus or not, it's good advice. It's pretty simple, straightforward advice. His command is to love each other, and that was the antithesis of loving someone when you treat them like a leper, but then you're too above doing a tarot card reading. It's just beyond me, that kind of ignorant thinking. And I don't know how to explain, but yeah, it makes no sense to me. And especially when someone reaches out to you, I think maybe there's a lot to be said about forgiveness and I don't know, just treating others how you want to be treated. Love one another. Maybe that's the message is coming through for Valentine's Day, is to just find opportunities to express or show love to anyone. It doesn't have to be just a partner, or, you know, go out of your way to do something loving for someone tomorrow, or if you have a tiff with someone, you know, like to fix it. It's pretty simple, straightforward, and you can't do that, then, you know, I mean, it's just beyond me. Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, they've been judged and found wanting. And by the way, did you think judgment was just like one like big bang thing at the end of the world? Like, yeah, it's happening all the time, and there's intermediaries and things like that. So, been judged and you've been found wanting. I hope she's watching. Anyways, 3 of Hearts. Something in German, so yeah. 3 of Hearts, and that is a yes. So, and the Knight of, or Jack of Hearts, Adele Block Power 2, 1912. And let's see. Let's do next. The 3 of Hearts also is like a celebration and some sort of party. So maybe getting together with friends, or hopefully good friends that aren't secretly trying to be undermining or jealous, acting out of jealousy or control issues or things like that, you know. I don't know. Again, it could be, again, Pisces too, or the 3rd house, 3 friends, 3, I don't know, nothing, the people cards are always like, maybe it's just the person that you're getting together with, or going out with a group of friends tomorrow. Let's see, what should I do next? Maybe I will pull, where did I put it? I have so many opinions and so many things to talk about, or at least, you know, just things to consider. I don't know. Where did I put that? I wanted to pull from like the angel. I had it here a second ago. The Hermit and the 5 of Wands again. Where did I put it? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, maybe I should just go ahead and ask, you know, for a certain person, because I feel like really discombobulated right now. By the way, Michael's is really good for, they have so much stuff. I was like amazed. They have like really cute little bracelets that I'm like, oh, this was $2. It was amazing. And like things that you'd think like are from Muji. I'm like stocked up on stuff from Michael's. Okay, I was going to just ask for a certain person. It's true, right? That you're given false information and lied to and things like that by this girl that I just mentioned. They'll know if they're watching. And that Eight of Pentacles. You know the details. Virgo, Sun in Virgo. Don't know who that is. That also, by the way, I hope people, that's what I also, oh my gosh, I have so much to talk about. Um, uh, Eight of Pentacles, which came up prior to, I was going to say, I don't always know if I should say certain things or talk about them or, like blow my cover or, but the Eight of Pentacles comes up whenever stemming from the Ariana, and if it does come up in the reading, then I take it as a sign to talk about it. But yeah, so stemming from back in the Ariana Grande concert, with the hammer, it's usually working something out. Like my Valentine said, they're sticking together. Yeah, it's usually has some sort of something to do with like terrorist types things. So when that comes up, I usually try to find some way to reference the Eight of Pentacles, using any video or things like that that refers to it. Princess of Cups and the Eight of Cups. So yeah, there's been a lot of times that that's happened, and for people that don't follow us that closely probably wouldn't have caught on, but anytime there's been things like or averted terrorist things, in Russia, the one in San Francisco, or things like that. Yeah, so just when always wary of like who's watching these, but if I get the go-ahead to talk about it, it's usually because it means that there's nothing to worry about. No one that is of any threat will see this video. So anyways, so people know that I go after Eight of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles. I just want to say, like, I want you, or something. I want to know, or I want to mine. But also, this refers to a certain person too. I was talking about getting the wheels going. Sun in Capricorn, Sun in Virgo. Yeah, so tools and things like that, by the way. Tools, hammer, nail. Anyways, this looks like the beanstalk or something. Two suns, Sun Capricorn, Sun Virgo, and the Knight of yeah, so some sort of fortress, some sort of, these messages are going all over the place. Some sort of solar shield, too. This always looks like some sort of power plant to me. Lots of earth energy here. So, I've gone on a lot of different tracks now, so I'm just going to go back to my original thought. Yes, confirmation for the Virgo. Happy Valentine's Day. Saturn in Taurus, Seven of Pentacles. Think about it, think it over. Nine of Swords, layers, levels. Think about it. Up all night. Read between the lines. The Four of Pentacles, again, power. Maybe having certain power over someone or something, or wanting to. Mine, I just keep wanting to say mine. Like maybe, the Hermit again. And the Tower. Oh my gosh. Lots of cards coming through with this. Hermit, the Tower, Power, Tower. Some sort of shock or looking on someone, looking into something. Looking for guidance, looking step by step, step in the dark, mind blown. Probably what I'm saying is shocking them right now, so that's probably what this is. Did Corey lie to you? Ace of Pentacles, like I said. And the Princess of Swords. Yeah. What is this? Pisces, Eight of Cups. Leaving something behind. Maybe tying you to. Princess of Swords, reversed. So that's like slander, lies, and Ace of Pentacles. Yep. Sorry. I hate being the bearer of bad news, so don't shoot the messenger kind of thing. Anyways, maybe I'll save the Tarot of Sexual Magic for the end. And I wanted to pull from this deck. This is getting, it's okay, it's a little bit long, but I haven't done a reading for a while, so pull some Oracle cards. I haven't used this deck in a while. Masks and arts. Card. I guess there's a lot of messages coming through. This always reminds me of the Britney Spears Oops, I Did It Again, or the Empress too in a different deck, in the Thoth deck. 14-2 again. Let's see. On a lot of different subjects. I hope you followed along. 14. It's creativity, imagination. So maybe coming up with like creative, like creative problem solving. Each day is a new canvas to paint upon. Make sure your picture is full of life and happiness, and at the end of the day, you don't look at it and wish you had painted something different. In its myriad of forms, creativity is an expression of our humanity and imagination, both in its production and in its recognition. To take shape, color, form, sound, or words and give them a new life is an act of creation. Various symbols of the tools and medium through which creativity is expressed are worn by our artists as a decorative headdress of imagination. Sometimes creativity can consume our thoughts as slow-burning embers waiting to release. At other times, it is as a spontaneous explosion of inspiration. Either way, it is a wondrous human characteristic, and there are infinite varieties of individual expression, but alas, also an infinite variety of assessment by others. So again, some sort of spontaneous explosion of inspiration. She has all these things in her hair. 14 reminds me of 14 Temperance in tarot decks. So, which can also be art or angel, or so there's all these different mediums of expression. And I think of how in fashion, so many skills are transferable. I wasn't trained in menswear, but I was hired to be a menswear designer, and I caught on pretty easily because if you can make a flat in a tech bag, you can figure out how to do that and it's just learning different things, different specifics. So I think it's similar in that way for art. It's different mediums transferring. Maybe you need to figure out a different way or medium of expression, try something new, try something different, switch it up. I feel like there's always something really freeing in doing something completely different from what you normally are working at, or working on, or working in, like my little time space model instructions that I gave for you guys. Isn't it fun to try something different that you wouldn't normally do? And sometimes I feel like it gets you to think outside the box and just ignites a different part of your mind, and just to step away too from whatever problem we're wondering about. So maybe trying switching up methods, seeing how what you know about in one medium that you're familiar with, how that could transfer to something totally different. What is the overlaps? What are the similarities, and what does it have in common? How can your skills be utilized in a different format? Let's see. Belonging, acceptance, and assimilation. This is the primary joy. Again, joy of life is acceptance, approval, the sense of appreciation and companionship of our human comrades. Joshua Liebman. So I feel like that also speaks to a lot of things that I was talking about earlier, that, most people go with whatever's currently accepted, and it's about being able to see beyond that, and know that most people's perceptions are pretty limited, so you don't want to be part of the group of people whose perceptions are limited. You want to be part of the group of people that are visionaries, that can see beyond the horizon, that can think outside the box and be those initiators to start change, to start something that will be a positive change in the world for others, in your life, and however it is, anyways, be a little bit of a rebel. Our sense of belonging and acceptance by others requires affirmation, peer recognition and acceptance, compelling motivation, reward for our participation. To that aim, we may have to demonstrate to some degree our allegiance. Some communicate their allegiance and commitment through body marking, others by more transient expressions such as dress code and fashion, and still others by their conduct or mannerisms. Whatever the form, all are variations of the same basic objective, namely a confirmation that I am this and I belong, and in turn you are this and we accept you. The flamboyantly coiffed female modifies her appearance with a disguise in order to assimilate. The masked beak transforms her visual persona, and her poise and means of posture further confirm her spiritual transformation. She is at one with those she has joined. In our enthusiasm, desire for acceptance, we must be careful to stay true to ourselves. Are we really comfortable with the quote-unquote me we are claiming to be, or is it strained, forced, and ultimately unsustainable? So, the red ribbon around the neck stands out to me, and so does the other choker thing the birds are wearing, and also one of the videos, Cherry. I think it's like a fan-made video, but it's weird at how these things sort of just, I wonder if it's weird to anyone else, if anyone else follows along with these things. Not just me. I'm like, is it, I don't know. Also the beaded hair thing stands out to me, for some reason. Like, I think it reminds me of some sort of Disney movie. Like pearl netting. Also think of like structure in a corset bodice, and I'm blanking on the name, ribbing, the things that you have to insert. Why am I blanking on the name? Which are not fun to sew. With something being able to, think of like fashion, being able to defy gravity in a way. I remember I was very ambitious. My first bodice that I ever made, corset bodice, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make this like stand-away bodice that like kind of goes out, and I'm gonna defy gravity, and oh my gosh, overzealous sometimes, but figured it out finally. Maybe there has some trial and error, starting over from scratch. Going straight up. Setting up masks, and like your ascendant sign. Maybe looking to see what your ascendant sign is and what the ruler of that sign is, and what house traditionally rules that ruler. Like, I think I explained, but in case you didn't get it, I'm a Cancer ascendant, Cancer rising, so, and Cancer traditionally rules the 4th house, so it was sort of that mixture to try to make it more applicable to everyone. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm my own person, so I can only, like, from my own perspective, really. But so for me, it's the ascendant, but it's also the 4th house, and in the 4th house, you have different planets, so whatever applies to you, it would be a different mixture of energies, which also makes me think of the Temperance cards. So mixing energies, finding that cohesive balance. How do things mix and merge, and where is that sort of, let's just say, twisting point? So two things, where do they come together? Yeah, so maybe I'll just pull one from here. This, they're not really oracle cards, they're like combination cards of the Rider-Waite decks. So to sum up any of the general tarot decks I used earlier, or of this reading, anything I missed? The birds, 12, 7 of Swords. Birds, usually messages, distractions. I want to say the 7 of Swords. The tree, the 7 of Hearts. So 7, 7, 14. There we go. Sometimes I feel like those are the main, you know, sometimes the really has nothing to do with the actual, like, sometimes it's just the numbers, sometimes it's the, something completely, you know, off topic of what the cards mean, or the number, you know, really have to see how things apply to you. Yeah, something about discernment too is what I was thinking about earlier today. Being able to discern maybe the right signs and signals for you. And again, that has to do with trial and error. So that, you're not, especially if you're a little bit psychic or intuitive, which was very confusing for me for a long time, like being able to distinguish and discern between what is a sign for me versus, and I'm still learning, like sign for me versus a sign more general, what's going to happen to others, like the memo thing, seeing that. I mean, that was pretty straightforward because, I'm not working in an office, but so I doubt I would have anything to do with the memo, but just being able to discernment of I'm quickly going back, like when I said the antithesis of love, talking about love others, and how that person basically treated me with the antithesis of that, how in that way we are all sort of contributing to that sort of anti-Christ mentality. Not to say that she is, but just that our actions are cumulative, maybe it would be our own downfall, who knows. Anyways, 12, not to be pessimistic. The whip. Birds, neutral. Therapy, gossip, communication, highlighted communication, conversation, interview, phone calls, siblings. So birds always have to do with signals or some sort of messages coming in, or paying attention to the signs and things like that. So birds I also think of spirit, swords, air, thoughts, things like that. Things popping into your mind, being able to discern right action. This is first and foremost a card about conversations with other people, which I also think of the Two of Cups. Think about how birds get together and the chatter and how what happens in our lives. When this card comes up, be prepared for a lot of phone calls, verbal or electronic communication, and long conversations. The tone of the conversation can be determined by the cards around it. So, I didn't really hold the tree, but birds plus tree, spiritual or health-related conversations. Okay. And for love, many conversations dealing with the relationship. For career, meeting and a lot of back and forth communications, flighty and social, maybe a bit on the gossipy side. 12 days or weeks, timing-wise. And the background is built off the Strength card, which lends its enduring energy to the image for all those long conversations that will be happening. Maybe just making a phone call, or maybe there's something important for you to look at in the signals playlist, or messages coming in. Make the phone call. That Iggy Azalea song, that line just popped into my head. So maybe that's a sign for you. Make the phone call and move forward. Do something. Even doing nothing is doing something. So let's see. Let's pull from this Tarot of Sexual Magic for oh my gosh, okay. So Seven of Swords, so that came up here too. Lies, maybe, some sort of distraction, or taking a second look at something. I'm going to shuffle though, because I haven't really shuffled before. Five of Wands again, and the Nine of Wands. So consoling someone looks like, I think this card's come up before. Looking in on someone, looking in on something. Let's see. Seven of Swords, tasting. The magic of the 7 red tulips. Only the beginning is not enough. Wait, what? Only the beginning is not enough, but it is a beginning. Not every seed can ripen in a day. This is why you must persevere. So keep going. There was that strength card. Maybe, you know, the other side is a sense of humor. So all those long conversations, long nights, maybe all night, all night long. Tasting, getting a taste of something, taste of your own medicine, maybe. Tasting situation, a taster, sampler, palette. I think red tulips. Maybe you're wondering what kind of flowers to get for your sweetheart tomorrow, and you get them tulips, red tulips. So I thought this was better. They had a little different meanings in this deck, so maybe, yeah. Again, though, there's two people. Looks like they need to turn around and talk. He looks kind of upset. Yeah, so it's the communication, lots of communication. Let's read. Oh no, there's so many cards that popped up. Working 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. My God, I'm so tired. Wands, okay. Caressing. Maybe these are tips for your Valentine's Day tomorrow. Caressing, the magic of the 3 little birds. Lots of birds. Maybe birds of a feather. When a situation is suspended or blocked by doubt, you must hurry to resolve it because it cannot go on forever. So, looks like they turned around. Looks like they turned around and they're working things out. They're caressing, they're tasting. Caressing, tasting, yeah. 5 Wands. Watching. Magic of the jug with the 3 ribbons. Good luck and happiness are not always and only for ourselves, but can be passed on to others, expecting that someone will give them to us in the future. So you get what you give. Think of, pass it on, or what was that Kevin Spacey movie? Maybe I'm being a bit spacey. It's pretty late. Yeah, and I did say, like, love, go out and find a way to show, like, real love to someone, like, tomorrow. So, 5, another change. 20, maybe judgment. Looks like he's stumbled across these 2 and total, like, I don't know, I'm going to pull a different card. I don't really know what to say about that. Kind of looks like they worked some things out, you know, like turned around, he brought her some tulips, turned around, they're talking, they're pressing, it led to this, and I don't know what he's doing here, but yeah, there's some sort of change up, some sort of, yeah. Let's see, one more card. We'll never get the Hierophants on the bottom here too. Maybe 5 is just really important. The King of Wands here, and the 3 of Cups again. So he looks like he's protecting her. Says something about a magic egg. Oh, these cards are so entertaining. 3 of Cups. Passion. Passion again. The magic of the egg. The egg is a promise of life. It indicates improvement, success in love, and relief from heartbreak. So, I mean, it looks like a lot of relief. So, and the King of Wands. So a lot of wands, a lot of fire and water. Cups. Keep yawning. Embracing closely. The magic of the bracelet with 9 knots. Commitment is important. The conquest derives from the quiet willpower and mutual determination to offer yourselves to each other. So I feel like that's a nice way to end at least the love portion. Maybe was I going to read anything else? I feel like that's a nice way to end. So embracing each other, and yeah, and we're at 122:52. Maybe I also want to say something about midpoints too, because the twos keep coming up. And maybe look up your midpoint. It has a lot to do with, like, well, there's midpoints for everything, but sun, moon midpoint's important. I looked up my, like, Venus, sun midpoint, and yeah, just wherever you have a lot of planetary energy, I think is, like, interesting. So, gosh. Sorry, this is getting really late. I'm very tired. So 9 knots, something with 9 knots. The magic of the bracelet with 9 knots. So, and the 9 of Pentacles came up before too. So maybe that's, again, 9 is important. It's the end, completion of something. And we got a couple of 3s here. So, 3, 6, 9. Mutual determination to offer yourselves to each other. So having a common endpoint or common goal in mind too. So I heard is like, since separation did come up, for those of you that maybe are in long-term relationship or thinking about getting into one, one good piece of advice I got one time was that you can only do, and it's only sustainable if you both have some sort of endpoint in mind or time thing in mind or something like that. So like mutual determination to offer yourselves to each other. So having a common goal, like pursuing each other. If you're together with someone, just both making the effort and quiet willpower. Just knowing that I guess both of you are in it for, it's a mutual effort kind of thing. In it for the long, my mind's going blank. At this point, I'm a little tired. I'm going to do a different video right now before I get too tired and just do these. And I'm going to throw them all out and see if you can think of questions right now. And see if any answers come through with that. So thanks for being here with me. I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope it was helpful to some degree and brought you some clarity or insights and whatever it is you're wondering about. So have a great day tomorrow. Bye.